Hey YouTube, we're going to do one more video before the league turnover tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to do some top teams with these newer Pokemon. But what I want to do in today's video is, if you've been around on my channel for a while, you know in the new season I always do a Beyond the Hype of the Pokemon. Every content creator, you are going to see every GBL content creator spam like 4 to 5 videos a day trying to showcase all these new Pokemon, saying it's the best thing in the world, you need to build it up. And basically what I do is Beyond the Hype is I say like, okay, here's their strengths, here's their weaknesses, this is why you should or should not build them up. So some of these Pokemon, like Starmie was a perfect example last season. I saw multiple content creators go, Starmie is a must use, oh, it's going to be so strong. And then Beyond the Hype, I used him like, this is not going to be useful at all. Way overrated, it's not going to be good. And then it was just nowhere to be seen because it's not good. So this is going to be a bit of a surprise. What I'm going to tell you to do is basically build 5 to 10 Pokemon that I think I don't even need to, I will do Beyond the Hype for, but I don't even need to do Beyond the Hype because they will be meta. So if you have these Pokemon, it's one of these things where it's like, you can wait for my video next week. I'm going to do Lapras, I'm going to do Grumpig, I'm going to do all these next week anyways. But there's some of these Pokemon that are just like easy builds. So we're going to go through these Pokemon. Not surprising, a lot of them are in the top like 30 or 40. But I'm going to explain basically right now why they are justified to be in the top 30 or 40, starting with Lapras. So Lapras, for those of you who do not know, I always do history on this channel. Lapras was actually like a season 1, season 2 Pokemon that was used by people because it just had an insane amount of bulk. So, right, because look right off the stat, 104, 113, 179. And again, this is at a time when XL was not a thing, right? So when you have a Pokemon with a 2936 stat product with a low attack and high defense and stamina, like these are the types of things you see on like your Clodsires and your Azumarill and stuff like that, which are all, I don't actually Clodsire is not XL, but like this, but Clodsire wasn't a thing, right? So low attack, high defense, high stamina. So Lapras was that at the beginning. It had an okay fast move. I think it had Ice Shard at the beginning too, but some Water Gun, some White Ice Shard. And it had Surf, and a lot of people use Skull Bash as a cover move. Now, it gets Psywave. And who cares about Psywave? Well, Psywave is one of the best fast moves in the game in terms of energy and damage. So even though you do not get same type attack bonus on this, when you can gain energy at 4 per turn and still do 3 damage per turn, that's a great combo to have. Allowing a very bulky Pokemon to get to stab hard-hitting charge moves quickly makes this thing very scary. So you have your bulk that you can use as just like to absorb damage / like a safe swap here. You have Psywave, which is one of the best fast moves in the game, and then you have a sort of newer move, Sparkling Aria, with same type attack bonus, 96 damage for 45 energy, 2.13, right? So whenever you have like a 35, 40, or 45 energy move that with your same type attack bonus does over 2 damage per energy, you are in a good spot here. So your first move already being over that 2 damage per energy is fantastic. So 45 for 96, we like to see that. Second is Ice Beam. It's still like a 2 damage per energy move. You can do Skull Bash if you want something neutral. The recommended moveset is just the Sparkling Ice Beam. And it's going to play sort of like for Alligator, in the sense that if you get against like some water Pokemon where your water and ice type moves are resisted, they will still be able to chip an insane amount with the Psywave. It's kind of like how for Alligator does that with Shadow Claw. That's what's going to happen with the Psywave, Sparkling Aria, and Ice Beam combo here with Lapras. But the difference between this and for Alligator is this has this less attack heavy but with the bulk. So Lapras should be a very strong one. It is going to be used by every content creator. They're going to say how strong it is, and it will be strong. There's really no two ways about that. It will be strong. Another Pokemon that everyone's going to use and will be strong is Grumpig. For the same reason, we just went over Psywave as one of the best fast moves in the game. And oh, hello, same type attack bonus on top of this. So 3.6 damage per turn here with the 4 energy. So right off the bat, with same type attack bonus, you're looking fantastic. Our Psychic, so I already kind of highlighted yesterday, Ghost and Dark. There's going to be a lot of that this meta. So that's your only potential weakness here. But being able to have again, even with no same type attack bonus, because Dynamic Punch has been buffed, a move that only takes 12 to get to and does that 2 damage per energy, 90 damage, is just a very, very fast spamming, decently hard hitting move. And then you have Shadow Ball as coverage as well. Not the best damage. For 55, it's not the worst, not the best damage per energy, but it's overall Shadow Ball is just a great move. So this is going to be a pretty good Pokemon. The stat product, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good. But the stab Psywave, whenever you get the stab Psywave, just think of Malamar, right? Like, you remember Malamar in some situations where you could just like Psywave the crap out of your opponent. It's going to be the exact same thing on this Pokemon with 2 very nice moves. So like Malamar last season, Grumpig should be pretty highly used this season. Dusclops, Dusknoir, alone, based on the fact that there's 2 things with these Pokemon. They're going to play different roles, right? Dusclops is, I was going to say the baby version, but the lower evolution, that's why it's XL'd. So it can actually get up to level 45 at 0, 11, and 15 here, which is the optimal for rank 1. And as you can see, low attack, almost 200 defense here, which makes it a pretty high Pokemon here. Hex getting buffed means it's doing more damage, but also the energy is increased as well. I think it buffed both, or is it just the energy? Either way, it is now buffed up to 4.33 energy per turn, which look how fast these charge moves are coming. Shadow Punch, which again, not amazing. It does almost the 2 damage per energy, 1.9, but only takes 9, 9, 9, and 6 to get to. So this thing is going to spam like crazy. The reason that I personally would not use Dusclops and I would use Dusknoir, for me, depends which Pokemon you like or don't like and how you play Pokemon. Again, the strength of Dusclops is that it spams fast, but it does not hit hard, right? You have a 66 damage move and a 60 damage move. But the thing is, you are so bulky, and this punches come so fast that yes, it may take like 3 to take you out, but that's only like 27 turns with the moves. It's not a lot to actually take you out, and you can take a lot of damage there. That's Dusclops. Dusknoir, with Astonish, way harder hitting fast move. You're more attack heavy here, so you have less defense, but you're way more attack heavy. So now you have a hard hitting fast move. And for me, I like there's a shadow bonus on here, which makes Shadow Punch over the 2. And then the Dynamic Punch non-stab still over the 2 damage per energy and a quick move, right? So it still only takes 15 and 12 to get to Dynamic Punch, and it does 108. So I think Shadow Dusknoir will probably be better in my opinion. Let me see. Yeah, so the Shadow Dusclops is actually down at 41, and the Dusknoir's non-shadow is at 23. I think it makes sense from this perspective. Astonish is a hard-hitting move, and you are less bulky anyways, right, on Dusknoir. So you might as well give up. One move probably doesn't take you out, but you're probably getting taken out in 2 anyways. So I would probably just want to be taken out in 2 and do more damage. Dusclops is so bulky and it doesn't hit that hard, that adding a little bit of damage doesn't offset for some of your insane bulk you're going to get. You're going to be able to live a lot of charge move with Dusclops. So if you want to live a lot of charge move and just kind of spam, it makes more sense to go the non-shadow than it does to give up some of that bulk, but still not really be able to take out with these moves, right? Because again, that's the problem with these moves on Dusclops is they don't hit hard. So even with that shadow bonus, yes, that Shadow Punch is up at 80, which is, again, 80 is okay. It's not amazing, but your Ice Punch is still 72. So when your highest move here is still 80, that's not amazing, right? That's an okay, but that's not amazing. Whereas opposed to Dusknoir, your hardest to 80s, okay, but that 108 in Dynamic Punch, it's the second move that's really, really for me saying Dusknoir is going to be better than Dusclops. Both should have play, but I would probably personally build up Shadow Dusknoir if you have it. I need to do Beyond the Hype on Claydol. I don't think I need to do Beyond the Hype on Togetic. I would say that Togetic is... I'm like 90% sure that you can build Togetic, and it's not even the size shock that got buffed that I care about. It's the Dazzling Gleam that got buffed that I care about. So it already had a couple things going for it last season. Again, stat product there, typing. I think overall there, yes, you're weak to 5 things, and there is a ton of poison and an okay amount of ice, and electric is definitely starting to show up more this season. But to double resist ground and fighting and dragon and bug and single resist grass and dark when there's going to be a lot of all this in the meta, being able to resist all those is fantastic. Put on the fact that you have Fairy Wind, one of the fastest charging moves. And again, this is why I don't care about Size Shock, right? You're not even anywhere close to that 2 damage per energy for a 40 energy move. 70 damage isn't going to cut it. But you get Stab, Dazzling Gleam. And because you have a Fairy Wind, which is charged so quickly, your Dazzling Gleams are coming at 14 and 12 now. And that's pretty dang fast for a Dazzling Gleam. Yes, I know the damage went down, but it's still at 108 damage. So if you can throw a 108 damage move in 14 and 12 turns, I love that. So with the stat product and the spamminess to get to Dazzling Gleam now, and the typing advantage you have on a lot of the meta, I'm 95% sure, 95% sure Togetic will be worth the hype. Again, I will confirm this one, but for sure, I'm leaning towards this Chung is. Claydol, I'm still I'm honestly leaning towards overhyped. Claydol, I think, is overhyped. I will confirm that when I use it. I'm not even going to talk about... I'm going to do Beyond the Hype. I don't even know if I have a Shadow Machoke. I don't even know if it's worth it. I still think the other fighters are worth it. But let's go to Furret. I think Furret is going to be worth the hype. And I'll tell you why. So for those of you who have used it before, its stat product is, again, decent. Whenever you see like this near 2000 with a balanced attack, defense, and stamina, that's good. The typing, already a premium, right? Pure normal typings have a huge advantage because it only has one weakness, and that is fighting. It double resists ghosts. There's a crap ton of ghosts in case you hadn't noticed. So the typing for me is a huge advantage. And then Sucker Punch. The only thing that has... It's still such a good damage and energy combo here. 4 damage and 3.5 energy per turn. That is a very nice combo, even though you do not get same type attack bonus on it. And the only thing that's causing me hesitation are the charge moves. And it's not even like they're bad charge moves. A Stab Swift is a nice move. Not amazing, but for a 35 energy move, 1.9 damage per energy, and only coming in 10 turns worth of moves, that's pretty nice. And you don't want something over... You don't want like a Body Slam, right? Because then that's a broken move. That's why I got nerfed. Body Slam was like, with Stab, like 84 damage or something, which made it broken. So 66 with Stab, that's a nice move. The second move is Trailblaze. So, you know, this isn't a good move. It does buff that Sucker Punch, but this is why. If you're going to buff a hard-hitting move, I would want that hard-hitting move to have either a shadow advantage to it or same type attack bonus with it. So having a 4 damage per turn move is still good damage, but buffing it on a non-stat Pokemon, I don't know. So I still think this will be pretty good, but this one I'll have to probably use, but I'm leaning towards it will be decent. I think Emolga is going to have a lot of play in this meta. I think that with its typing alone, you're going to have a lot of coverage. In fact, I tried to use Zapdos multiple times in the Great League and just kind of threw it away because stat product was just so bad that it could not take any move. Here, the stat product is not amazing. It is still more attack heavy. It's less bulky. Some things will not one-shot you. 1753 is not like... You're not like a 1600, 1500 here. You're 1763. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. So you can live some moves, but now you have, I think, better moves. I think your stat product is better than Zapdos, and I think your moveset is now better. You have the Thunder Shock, which charges super fast, and now this buffed Acrobatics. And again, we just went over how good a 108 Dazzling Gleam is at 14 and 12. Well, if I can sign you up for an 108 Dazzling Gleam at 4 and 12, I can sign you up for 132 damage Acrobatics at 14 and 12. Right? So huge move here. That's going to come really fast. So that is fantastic. Discharge will be a coverage / bait move to a certain extent. 10-8, 10-8, so that's a good bait move. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to run. Thunderbolts is obviously better damage per energy, and the damage is out there. But I still think you want a bait move. Although it could be fun to use this thing as like a closer. Use this as like a Thunderbolt Acrobatics closer. My only concern is that you're not going to one-shot some Pokemon, and then that's going to put you at a disadvantage. The thing with Acrobatics is a fantastic move. 132 damage is a hell of a lot of damage. It's not going to one-shot a ton of things. So you're going to need like an Acrobatics and Discharge. But that's what makes this Pokemon strong, is the Thunder Shock, getting to the Acrobatics super quick, 14, and then you can just spam like a 10 charge move to take out opponents. So I think that's what's going to make it very strong. And then it's typing. Like, I went over just 2 weaknesses there, but resisting 6 things, and 3 of those things are super meta ground, grass, and fighting. Like, sign me up for that. So I do think that on typing alone, it's going to get by. And then that buffed Acrobatics is going to be super strong. Already went over that. Blastoise. Here's the thing about Blastoise. Do I think it's going to be a good Pokemon? Yes. Do you need to build it up? Do you need to build it up? Yes or no? The previous question is, do you have a Feraligatr? If I have a Feraligatr, do I need to build this up? No. If I don't have a Feraligatr, shall I build this up? Can you build a Feraligatr? Yes. Go build a Feraligatr. If you can't build a Feraligatr, then sure, build up Blastoise. There's going to be absolutely no reason to build up a Blastoise. You have a worse charge move in rollout compared to Shadow Claw, and slower to get to the Hydros, 12 versus 10, and a worse second. Actually, this thing does have Ice Beam too, so it could use Ice Beam. Yeah, it does have Ice Beam, so it could actually use it. But no, Shadow Feraligatr, and even the regular Feraligatr should be ranked higher. Yeah, 12 and 14 here. There is going to be no reason to run Blastoise if you have those other two. So again, I can do Beyond the Hype on it, but I think my analysis is going to be, I should have just used Feraligatr. So I would probably save your stuff there. Spirit Tomb, I'll test. Again, I'm not sold on the charge move, so that's a Beyond the Hype. Medi, I think, again, I'll test Medi out, but I think Medi is going to be very strong with the Dynamic Punch buff. Like, only 10 to get to a dynamic. Like, you're telling me we're going to get to a 108 damage move in 10 turns on a stab Pokemon that has an insane amount of bulk and can live a lot? Yeah, I think Medi's going to be really up there. I won't tell you to build it right now, but I think it's going to be pretty strong. Everything else on this list is going to be a wait and see. Lanoon, like, you're basically looking like Rufflet. Not Rufflet. Furret. Not Rufflet. Not the bird. Furret. You're basically looking like Furret with yeah, it's like almost Furret, but like maybe slightly worse fast move on the Shadow Claw. What is it? Yeah, you're just switching. It's 4 and 3.5, right? So it's 4 damage and 3.5 energy. This is 3 damage, 4 energy. So it's just a slightly worse fast move with basically the same typing and very similar stat product, right? So I think just like a knockoff version, maybe like a double normal team would be interesting with these two with different fast moves. 1 claw, 1 dark. Could be somewhat interesting. And again, I think like Ninetales I'm going to test. There's going to be a lot of Pokemon I'm going to test to let you know. And Swalot, yeah. So when we get down to like the 90s, I don't think there is personally. Where was Credilli? I kind of skipped over Credilli at 29. I think Credilli is going to be 1-2. Honestly, it was already borderline last season. And I think with the buffed Rock Tomb, it's just a coverage. It's just a coverage for the meta, right? You've got the grass for the ground Pokemon, and then you got the rock for your Talonflames and stuff like that. So if you go against like a more Peko Talonflame core, you have a double super effective Rock Tomb, and then you resist the electric first round with the grass. So I think it's going to be a pretty usable Pokemon. Again, I won't call it Beyond the Hype. Like, I won't say you have to build it up right now. So I don't think it's like gonna be like a you got to use this first sort of thing. I think it's probably like you got to use this fifth or sixth. Yeah. So for those counting at home again, what are the Pokemon that you can build up safely right now and will have no problem using? I think it's Lapras. I think it's Grumpig. I think it's Shadow Dusknoir. Or honestly, Dusclops too. Regular Dusclops or Shadow Dusknoir will both have play. Togetic, 90% sure it will have play. And Furret is going to have play as well. Those are the Pokemon that you can feel safe building going straight into tomorrow's matchups. So we will team build with these Pokemon. That's going to be my video for tomorrow morning. We're going to team build with all these new Pokemon. I'll team build with some of these other Pokemon down here. Like I'll team build with Blastoise. I'll team build with Medi. I'll team build. That wasn't Medi, but I'll team build with Medi, Linoon, Swalot. Like all these other Pokemon that got moves. I'll team build with all of them in case you want to test them out. But for the most part, we are going to just focus, I think, on like the top Pokemon being used. And then we'll do some of these bottom ones. So let me know if there's anything else that like got to move. Oh, Golisopod. So a lot of people said Golisopod is going to be very, very strong. And it's going to be very, very strong because of its typing. Because you resist water and ground and fighting. And ice, because there's some Dugons too, right? So when you resist, if you watch my video yesterday, I talk about what is going to be the meta. Water and ground and ghosts were my 3 main metas. So when you can resist 2 of them, I think you're in a good spot. And your rollout users got nerfed, so you're going to see less rock Pokemon. So from all that perspective, yes, Golisopod is going to be strong. Now, it doesn't play the same as Shadow for Alligator. They do have different roles. However, what I had found last season when I tried to use this Pokemon is, what's the point of using a non-stab Shadow Claw user with a worse water move and a second move that basically doesn't provide you as much coverage? Well, I can argue that you actually covers more because then you can actually hit neutral against like water Pokemon. But it just seemed like, why am I using this over for Alligator? Now, again, the argument is because you resist ground and fighting. And for Alligator does not do that. And that is a fair argument. So I do think that just on the typing alone, it's going to have a lot of play. And now Aqua Jet is going to have a lot of play too, because it is, again, what did I say? 2 damage per energy. 84 is fantastic. But again, this is where I'm having trouble with this Pokemon. 84 and 80 as the charge moves. The good news is they come at 10s, right? Like for Alligator, 10, 10, 10, 10 to 10 with the Shadow Claw. So this combo could add up real quick. But why for Alligator is just so fantastic. You got that. Again, you get Shadow bonus on this. So it looks even more crazy when you put the Shadow bonus on it. But that's why Shadow for Alligators has been so highly used. Because you get that extra damage on Shadow Claw. You're already pretty glassy. And you get that extra damage on a Hydro Cannon for 115 damage, right? And when you can spam a move in 10 that does 115 damage, you choose that Pokemon. You don't choose the one that does 80. You choose the one that does 115. So for me, I think for Alligator is just going to be the go-to in a lot of these situations of like the non-stab Shadow Claw users or the other water type Pokemon. Not saying that there won't be play for Golisopod and stuff like that, but I just think that I would probably personally default to thing. But we'll have to see how the meta shakes out, right? If we're seeing, if we are seeing like a lot of dark and Shadow Claw is also resisted on the for Alligator, maybe being able to hit with a X Scissor. But even so, what did I say? Shadow for Alligator at 110 with the Hydro Cannon. What's 80 with an extra 25%? It's still like comparable to a Hydro Cannon, maybe even less. And that's why I think like for Alligator is broken, right? Like it's so strong. Anyways, that is it. This afternoon you'll see, I'm gonna shoot the video tonight, so you may see a third video. We're gonna go over the video of the last teams I used to try and hit Legend. I hit 29-20 I don't want to go on to a rant this video. We'll go over that video. But it was like 29.40, immediate drop 1 and 4. Push back up to 29.15, immediate 05. Worked up 8 and 2, 1 and 4 immediately after. And it just felt like every time it got to like 29.20, I got algorithmed. I can't explain it. I cannot explain how hard countered I got from legends who had no desire to let me win. like it was just like I got to 29.20. I'm like, I got it. Like I've got this team. It's working. I'm running hard. And it was just like it was Morpeko, Corsola, and something. And it was just like Morpeko into a ground. Corsola on a normal typing. I forget what my last Pokemon was. And it was hard counter. It was just like 4 in a row from Legends. And they were just like, no, I'm taking you down. Which is the right to do. But it was just like, really, really algorithm. We're really doing this. Anyways, that video this afternoon. I do have... So, I technically have 2 more days. But... obviously, if you've watched my videos over the last little bit, you know that I care more about the channel than I do about hitting Legend. So I want to bank 1 set from Monday, today, and the 5 tomorrow, so I can do at least 2 Beyond the Hypes for Wednesday myself. So that means I have 4 sets. I'm at like 28.50 something. So I have 4 sets basically to hit Legend tomorrow. So it probably won't happen. You know, if I get to like 29, like 70, I'll probably try and like push it. But if I like 3-2, 4-1, 3-2 it, and I'm at like 29.20, like I'm not gonna try and push. If I don't hit Legend, again, I'm fine with it. We'll talk about that in the video this afternoon. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.